Born in China in 1919 of missionary parents, Houston Smith is a Bay Area treasure who went on in his lifetime to help us all understand the great religions of the world. Here's a New Year's present for you, a 1996 interview with Dr. Houston Smith.
Welcome to Mosaic with your host, Dr. Hugh Burrows.
Welcome to Mosaic. I'm Hugh Burrows. We have a real treasure and treat for you this morning. Dr. Houston Smith is with us, a resident of Berkeley, longtime scholar, author of the standard textbook on the world's religions. For 3 decades, students and people who have an interest in religion have been reading Dr. Smith's book. He's revised it, and he's come to talk with us about that. Houston, welcome.
Well, I'm very happy to be here.
Appreciate your coming on Mosaic. We had a chance to drive over this morning from the East Bay together, and truly a joy to have you. Let's begin by talking about the book you wrote nearly 3.5, 4 decades ago. Tell us about it.
Well, let me start just a little before that, namely with my birth, which was in China of missionary parent. So in a way, you can almost say that this book was in my genes, because here I was, nurtured in a Christian home, but we were the only Westerners in the town, and all of my contacts with were with Chinese, and of course their indigenous religion of Confucianism, Taoism, and East Asian Buddhism were around me, and a lot of folk religion in. So one can say that this might be seen as the blossoming of the way that I came into the world.
What part of China?
Inland, rural, 70 miles from Shanghai.
What time period are we talking about, if you don't mind my asking?
Not at all. You know, being Chinese, not in my genes, but in my formation, why, we look on age as an honorific. So I'm proud to say that I was born 76 years ago. I'm 76 years venerable, and that 1919.
And how long did you grow up in China? How old were you when you left?
I was 17 when I came to this country.
So that's formative. Let's talk a little bit about the impact of the modern world on the traditional Chinese religious systems when you were growing up. Did you see the challenges to those religious systems at that time, or was it too early?
We were, well, it was too early, but also we were too hillbilly. We were too rural, and therefore modernity had made very few inroads into my China. But then, of course, when I came to this country with this traditional background, then I slammed into modernity, and actually slammed into it hard, because my longest teaching appointment was at MIT, which is almost like modernity and the future in microcosm. So one way to understand this book, and certainly myself, is as the rubbing together of these two major alternatives, a traditional outlook, and all of them were religious, and a modern outlook in which secularization and humanism and so on is the ruling outlook.
Before we go to break, where did you land in America at 17?
I landed in Missouri, from which my father had gone to China, Central Methodist College, Fayette, Missouri, small college and small town. But compared with Podunk, China, it was the Big Apple, bright lights, big time, and it turned me around. I had only one male American role model, adult role model, made me my father. So I grew up thinking the missionaries were what American boys grew up to be. So I thought I was coming over here only to get my credentials and go back. But I hadn't reckon with the dynamism of even Fayette, Missouri, and I wasn't going to squander my life in the backwaters of rural China, so I made the West, knew that the West would be my home.
And turned into a missionary of another type, perhaps.
Very true, in darkest Africa.
We'll talk about that when we come back. Dr. Houston Smith, Conversation. Stay with us.